Hi, I'm Tim from Carlisle Campers, and in this video we're going to show you through the points of fitting the WES armrests onto a T5.1 onwards seat, so that encompasses the T6, T6.1 seats. 90% of the installation is the same as in our regular installation video. There is a few minor differences on the second generation seats, so I'm just going to walk you through those and show you it. Everything like the plastics on the seat is identical to the original installation video, so we're not going to show all that again, we're just going to show differences within the seat. So we'll start opening this up and show you what's different. So what we've done with this seat so far is we've just removed the black cover from the rear and then unsnapped the clip which holds the seat cover on, and then started to work the seat cover back up the back of the seat here. Unlike the original T5 seat that had some metal bands that went around the seat and clipped in place, the later seats, they don't have this. They have a plastic strip which runs up the backs of the seats, and it's just held on with little metal rings. So I shall bring the camera over and let you see this. So just down in here there is you can see there the metal ring which is just holding this black plastic strip onto the back of the seat. So you can either separate the rings by pulling it apart with two pairs of pliers, or you can just cut through them, because these are going to be replaced at the end with some nylon ties. And you can now see that as the cover is getting rolled back, you can see where the clips actually held it in place. Here's where the one has been removed, and there is a second set of them which also need to be removed as you're rolling the cover further back up. So I've now removed 4 rings on either side of the seat back. This allows now the cover to be totally removed. You can slide it up. Unlike the T5 one, it is secured on, it's a lot harder to get it off. This is a lot easier, so you just slide it up to the top and you can actually take it all the way off. You'll feel a little bit of resistance around where the headrest points are, but you can just pull the material and it'll come off around those. And there we have it. It will be secured along this back section, but you can just leave that in place. That isn't going to affect you fitting the armrests. So you can now see you can push the foam through from the other side, releasing it at the bottom along both sides, and that will allow you to then move the foam back out of the way to access where the new brackets are going to fit. You can see on this seat it already had the original Volkswagen armrests on it. These are just simply welded in place, so if you have these on your seat you can just with an angle grinder cut them off and just grind it flush, and that will allow you to install the WES armrests. And we can now have a closer look at where the mounts are for the original VW ones. As mentioned before, you can see that these are just welded in place, and you can just quite easily cut those off, ready to fit the new ones. We're now going to swap onto a different chair which doesn't have those mounts, so that you can see how the rest of the installation would take place. So we are now looking at a different seat. This is also a second generation T5.1 seat from also 2011, and this one doesn't have the VW brackets on, so this is how your seat would look if you've got one that has never had seat brackets on from VW, or if you had the brackets and you've removed them. So it is ready for the new brackets to be fitted. Just for reference, these are the T5.1 onwards brackets, and these are the T5 brackets, the earlier one. So you can see there's a physical difference between the two, and this is the one that we're going to be using today to fit on the later T5.1. So I shall zoom in and show you this area here where you can see how the brackets are going to be installed. So there we are, and it's going to utilise these two bolt holes here. They're the ones that are going to be holding the bracket onto the chair. When you receive your armrest brackets, they will be set up out of the box ready to mount to your chair, but just be aware that they are handed for either side of the chair. So you can see on this side there's a bolt hole and not on the other side, so just be aware of that if you're encompassing difficulties, to check that it's the correct side that you have. Mounting the brackets is fairly straightforward. All you have to do is undo the nuts and bolts that are in these two locations here. The second one has a spacer mounted behind, so make sure that you keep that spacer in the correct position. And then it sits slightly behind this section here. The first one passes through and the second one just lines up and screws into place. This one has already got a threaded portion on the chair, so it works perfectly, just screwed in. The second one, you push it through and remount the nut to the rear. And this one, it comes also with an extra nut, so you can put that on to lock it into position. And then you just tighten this one up. So tighten up the lock nut on the other one at the rear, and that is the bracket mounted into position. Once the bracket has been fitted, you can then put the foam over the top of the bracket. Like so. Just be careful when pulling on the foam not to rip it, because it can tear if you're too rough with the foam. We'll then tuck the other sections back through. Like so. And then we'll prepare to mount the second bracket. The second bracket is much easier if you mount it through the foam and put it into place and then bolt it in. So as mentioned, it's a lot easier if you've got this already through the foam, all the bolts are in, ready to mount it in place, and this means that you don't have to pull the foam over the pin once you've mounted it. So just push it up into position. Screw your bolts into place. Then tighten them all up, and then we're ready to reinstall the seat cover back on. So the brackets have now been properly bolted onto the frame. They are now nice and secure. The cover for the seat has been brought back over and started to be brought down. So this is the only part that really differs from the original T5, and it is how to secure the black plastic straps that go along here. You can reuse the original metal clips or tangs, so you just have to put them on and then adjust them with some pliers, or alternatively, and is also a lot easier, you can use cable ties. These will just go around, you just pull them on and they lock it down nice and tight, and they work very effectively. Using a pair of pliers you can then nip off the excess, and you'll just work your way down until you get to the point where the cover is ready to go over the top of the brackets. So at this point we've done 4 out of the 8 securing points, and it's at this point here where we would then lift the material out over the pins, get one secured in position, and then do the following one, and then we will lock in the other 4 securing points with the cable ties as well, and then that will be it completed for this seat. So you can now see that the seat cover has been fully installed. All the additional ties have been put on to secure it in place. It's been re-clipped at the back. The armrests have now been installed. This is all covered in our original WES armrest installation video, as this doesn't differ from the earlier seats. This video is mostly just to show you the slight discrepancies between the T5.1 seats onwards and the earlier T5 seats. But this seat is now ready for installation in a van. If you have any questions and want any armrests for your van, just get in touch with us. You can check our website at carlislecampers.com, and we're happy to answer any questions.